Hey guys, Jawa here. I'm here with Mr. Tom Angleberger, the author of the Origami Yoda book series, as well as other classics like Fake Mustache, Horton Half Pot, and what's your new book that came out?
Oh yeah, I got the whole Dee Dodo series out right now.
Dee Dodo?
That's for the younger people.
Yeah. So, to celebrate Origami Yoda's 10th anniversary of the first book, Mr. Angleberger was kind enough to sit down with me and answer a few of our questions about Origami Yoda and some of his other books. So our first question, by the way, me and the EU Council came up with these questions. There's a few of them. So the first question is, when did you start writing and what were some of the things that you wrote about?
Well, now you may have heard this story before, but you know in the 7th grade I started writing the Cowboys Riding Snails epic adventure where nothing ever happened because the snails were so slow. And then in high school I wrote a comic book. It was very Ghostbusters ripoff, basically. And you know, I just always wanted to tell stories of some kind, and they were always had some connection to science fiction or weirdness or both. And so I just never stopped trying to get something like that published, and Origami Yoda was the thing that finally happened. That's
pretty cool. So the next question is, when and why did you create the alias Sam Riddleberg?
Oh my gosh, that was a nightmare. It made everybody unhappy, especially my grandmother, who was like excited, you know, to see my name on the cover of a book, and then it's not my name. But my whole life, people have been misspelling Angleberger. A lot of people spell it Angelberger. And I was like, you know, I'm going to be on the bookshelf. I want kids to be able to find my book. I want something easy to spell. So I thought of all these different last names, and I came up with Riddle, right? What a great last name, Riddle. Tom Riddle. And I was ready to go with that, and then I realized that was Voldemort's name. Yeah. I think I just spoiled Harry Potter for those of you that haven't finished reading it yet. So then I was like, well, I need to change my first name. So I made that Sam, and Sam Riddle would have been okay.
Yeah.
But somehow or another, it got the burger stuck on the end, and it became Sam Riddleberger. One of the best things that ever happened was when my publisher said Sam Riddleberger needs to die. So Sam Riddleberger met a gruesome accident, and he's no longer around. Both of his books have been republished now under my name.
Yeah.
So poor Sam. I think about him from time to time, but he had great hair. Have you ever seen the pictures of Sam's hair? Sam's hair stood way up like this.
Yeah, so the next question is, what were some of the first stories that you got published?
Well, as you probably know, a lot of rejections for my fiction stories. But I became a newspaper writer, and I started writing stories that were true. And I found out I really liked that. I had a great time writing. In fact, I'd be interviewing you if I was still a reporter for the newspaper. Because you're doing cool stuff, right? Yeah, you'd be a great story. But instead, I wrote those books for a long time. I mean, I wrote those newspaper articles for a long time, and that was fun. But I started to get a little tired of the same old town council meetings and all that stuff. And just started wanting to write weird stuff again.
Yeah. So, did you always plan on making Quick Pick a series?
No, Quick Pick was just a one-time story, but as soon as I finished it, I was ready to send them out on another adventure, and I spent a long time thinking about what their second adventure was going to be, and finally I remembered, you know, the first story is about the poop fountain, the second story is about the rat with the human face, and I just happened to remember a guy telling me a story about seeing a rat with a human face, and I thought, man, if I had not been a wimp, I would have gone looking for the rat with the human face myself. Unfortunately, as a real person, I was too scared to do it. But Marilla and the Quick Pickers, they'll do anything. So they went looking for the rat that I was afraid to look for.
So, I noticed in the third Quick Pick book, you were kind of talking about how you found the box of stories that the kids had written. Were the Quick Pick kids real in any kind of way, or were they all based around things that you've heard?
Yeah, that was a little bit of window dressing there. That was just to add a little mystery to it. But since the mystery's over, I can tell you the truth, which is that the Quick Pickers are based on me and Will and Kate and the adventures we had the summer after 7th grade. And we had a great time. There's not enough adult supervision. We're lucky we weren't badly injured in some way, but we had a great summer. And I tried to sort of recreate that with the Quick Pickers.
That's pretty.
So they're real in that they're me and my friends. Much like Dwight and the Macquarie kids, you know. They're real, but not exactly real.
Yeah. So, when did you first start folding origami?
So, folding origami for me even predates being a Star Wars fan. Because I saw Star Wars when I was 6, started origami somewhere around 4 or 5. And the very first thing I can remember folding was a paper cup. My mother showed me how to fold that very simple paper cup. And it was just always part of my wiring after that was fold paper all the time. And I never got any good at it though, but that's okay.
Yeah. When did you first start making Star Wars origami?
So probably when I was in high school, I was probably trying to make an X-Wing. Everybody tries to turn a crane and do an X-Wing. Never really pulled that off very well, but the original Origami Yoda, that was my first real good piece of Star Wars origami, and it was so good it inspired a book series.
Yeah, that leads into my next question a little bit, and you kind of just answered it. Did you have the idea for the books before or after you folded Yoda?
Right, I folded the Yoda just because I was a Star Wars fan, origami fan. I just love that stuff, and so I folded it just as a pure fan. And then only after I had it on my finger was I like, man, there's a story here.
What do you think made Origami Yoda and the rest of the series a success?
Well, you guys, the SuperFolders, were a huge part of that. The first book was me, and then almost immediately everybody started telling me what I should put in the books. And sometimes I listened. Everybody wanted me to make Darth Paper, you know. So I made Darth Paper. You guys had all these crazy ideas, and sometimes I had to block them out. Sometimes I had to be like, I can't read the EU today because I'm trying to write a story. I can't let them mix. But other times I was like, hey, everybody, send an idea for, what Murky folds. No, Murky's not on the bus. For what Kellen and Dwight fold on the bus. Send in an idea for that. And so you guys powered those books. They were supercharged by your enthusiasm, and that was what made it fun for me. 8 books, was it 8? 7. 7 books. That's a lot of books. It could have gotten boring, but instead it was constantly exciting because of you guys.
Well, did you ever consider making another origami series not based on Star Wars?
Man, I still think about it sometimes. In some ways I feel like Origami Spock did I bring an Origami Spock with me? Origami Spock is like so possible, so natural. Is this Origami Spock? No, that's Origami He-Man. That won't do. No, that wouldn't work. Origami He-Man? Maybe it could work. It might work, but we'll see about that. But I've always always thought about Origami Star Trek. That would be awesome. So you never know. Maybe someday.
That'd be pretty cool. What is your favorite book that you've worked on?
Wow. Writing Pickle Teen may have been my favorite. It was so much fun. Getting all those ideas from you guys, reliving my own field trip experiences and disasters. I actually went to the Smithsonian to look around for where would the plane land, all of that stuff. That was just so much fun. I always feel like that's maybe the one book that came out the most like what I dreamed of, what I really wanted. And it was a ball. It was a great time. Those were heady days back then.
So, what in the Origami Yoda series, what was your favorite character to write for, and what was your least favorite?
Oh man, Harvey is the best character ever. Harvey, you know, I mean, I tell everybody I'm Dwight. There's so much of Harvey in me. I always know what Harvey's gonna say. When it comes to writing Harvey's comment, that was like not even work. That was like, I already know what he's saying. It just comes out. Harvey was, he was so much fun. Man, I don't remember anybody that was not fun at all. There was nobody that was unfun, I don't think. But Harvey was the best. And Dwight, I mean, trying to think of what Dwight was going to do next, that was also a ball. I gotta tell you guys, it was so much fun. I'm having fun with the books I'm writing now, but back in those days when I was writing stuff and knowing you guys and knowing you guys were going to read it, that was a great time.
All right, we're down to our last few questions. So you've known about the Expanded Universe website for a long time, and just what are some of your thoughts about that, just in general?
Man, it's just about my favorite thing that came out of all of Origami Yoda. It just makes me happy. When I'm having a bad day, I can remember you guys are out there writing your crazy stories and folding your stuff and putting that stuff out there. It just makes me so happy. I don't know that you guys, you didn't need me because you're all very creative people, but you needed me to get you guys together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if it wasn't for me, you guys would be doing something awesome on your own. Yeah. But I was the one that sort of brought you together. I'm very proud of that.
You're kind of like Nick Fury bringing all the Avengers together.
That's me. I'm the Nick Fury of origami. Oh man.
So I showed you the series finale.
Oh man, guys, the series finale.
Yeah.
I had chills. It was amazing. It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and I think that'll be out by the time this video comes out.
Okay, well if you haven't watched it yet, watch it right after this because it's perfect. It's a great ending to your series, and it almost works as an ending to my series. Because my series is this the end? And yours wraps it all. I love your ending. You guys have knocked it out of the ballpark with your series. I've enjoyed it from day one. It's just been a ball.
Yeah, well, that really means a lot. We worked on it for almost as long as the books have been out.
Yeah.
So it was a really fun. Although Dwight changed actors almost every episode.
That's all right, man.
So the last question is, if you could tell SuperFolders one thing, whether they want to be writers or just some life advice, what would you tell them?
Oh man. Let's see. Well, I've got something to tell you, and then Origami Yoda has something to tell you guys. From me, you just have to keep doing it, keep having fun with what you're doing, and there's nobody that can stop you from doing it. That's the great thing about. I mean, when I was a kid, I couldn't make a movie on my own, but you guys can make a movie on your own. But you know, origami cartoons, nobody can stop you. It doesn't take a big budget. You don't have to ask anybody's permission. You think of a story, you can tell that story. And now at the web, you can put it out on the web. And the web, do people say the web anymore? I sound like a really old person. Oh, man. But that's the glory of it all, is you guys can tell stories and have fun and make awesome stuff. And that's exactly what the EU and the Origami Yoda, the series, has been all about. And I'm excited that, you know, you guys may not even be aware of this. There's like a whole new generation of EU kind of people coming up, and they're 8 years old now, and they're like, they don't like my stories. They like, I'm gonna write a different ending for the story, and or I'm gonna fold a better Origami Yoda than Tom did, and man, that's awesome. That makes me so happy. So yeah, you guys are about to pass the torch because you're moving on to your own projects after this. It's the final episode. You guys will be making hopefully hugely successful movies of your own soon. But there's an 8-year-old kid out there who's gonna grab a camera and film the next version of Origami Yoda, I hope. And I'm excited about that. So that's what I have to say, is just keep on going, keep making stuff, keep having fun, and keep sending it in to me, because that's what keeps me going and seeing it. And then I brought somebody special. It's the real Origami Yoda. He doesn't leave my house very often, the real Origami Yoda. And he wanted to say, uh-oh, he's got a piece of Scotch tape stuck to him. That's the danger of being made out of origami, is you end up with Scotch tape and sometimes more wrinkles than even Yoda's supposed to have. But here he is, and he wants to say, may the force be with you, always. Thanks, man. Thanks to all the SuperFolders, and thanks to all of you EU and the series participants. You guys, you've just been amazing. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot, man.